Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. This is Matt Plays Every Spec video. Today we're going to be playing Devastation Evoker. It's the first spec that I've learned on Evoker. You could have also chosen Augmentation. Augmentation is just another damage spec. I think it's better for single target. I can't remember, to be honest. And it's been a couple days since I recorded videos, so bear with me. I'm trying to find my stride again. I don't like this dragonid appearance. Like, I only get to see shoulders. Like, come on. So, a few videos ago, I learned Discipline Priest, but I didn't show how I learned Discipline Priest. And yeah, I do miss obvious things a lot. And one of the obvious things I've missed is I should actually start to teach how and why to do this. To play every spec. Like, duh. But you know, that's just part of being stupid, which I am. So for starters, let's do this, and then we're going to talk. We're going to get... which thing? I like to pick smaller mounts when I'm doing skywriting because it's easier to see what you're doing. Bigger mounts are for flexing and looking cool. I'm definitely going to be wearing a few of those this time around. Silver. Okay, let's put on the mount that we're going to use and talk. Colossal Sonic Claw. Look at that beast. So first I would like to say why I'm doing this. And that's because I'm sort of a jack of all trades type of person. I don't have a specialization as far as like what I'm good at. I get good at a lot of things. So if you've looked around at, searching things based on my name, you'll find some things like my art. You might find some of my anime music videos. I've made around 10 anime music videos. And starting with the first one, I've been winning awards for them. So, but I don't like stick to anime music videos. I have ADHD, so sadly I get bored of everything I do. I just hit ceilings, like I just don't know how to proceed or get better beyond a certain point. Or maybe I just get bored in general. So I get good at a lot of things. I write as well. I've written a complete novel. I've got like 2 or 3 novels in the works. I like doing research and learning stuff. I like playing video games, and I've been playing video games my whole life. And I'll get good at anything, I don't even care. Socially, I can be either reserved or I can be really extroverted, and so, I can open people up. I like making people feel welcome and accepted, or I can be the quiet guy, like a wallflower. I've been a partier, I've been an alcoholic, I've been, I don't want to say a recreational drug user, so I'm not going to say that. Right now I'm pretty straight edge. I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I care about mental health, and I know a bit about psychology, even though I don't have formal training for it. My degree is a bachelor's degree in art. But I care about good design, I care about good UI. I don't know. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. So that's why I decided I should play every spec and show people, first of all, that I could do it. Because I was like, I play almost every spec. I'm sure I could just play every spec if I just take a little bit of time and effort into doing it. Just finish off some of the specs I don't use. There must be some people there that want to play a spec, but they don't know how to approach it. So right now I'm working on Evoker, because Evoker is a really new class for me, and it needs gear. My Evoker needs gear. This is what my appearance looks like. There we go. DJ Cream, he's a menace. Mr. Dubstep. Okay, so I just have to kill things. So if you're wondering how Evoker works, what kind of a class it is, first thing I want to point out is that these newer classes like Demon Hunter and Evoker are simple. Like, look at, this is a complete bar. It's missing a lot of keybinds. Even this one doesn't even need to be there. This is just switch between your dragonid appearance and your human appearance. I keep that on X. But just look at the bars. There's like a lot of stuff missing. They're just a very simple class. Maybe that's the way things are going lately. I don't really know. Maybe the more... I'm not saying they're like a dumb class or like an easy class. But it seems like they have fewer abilities. Like if you compare this to Druid, with fucking shapeshifting in 4 different specs. I don't know, there's just less to them, I guess. But Evoker is kind of like a mage, I would guess. And I'm finally glad that they made another class that wears mail. Look, they wear mail. If you played WoW for a long time, you would have noticed. Yeah, they seem to make a lot of classes that wear leather. Just so many of them. But there's only 2 classes that wear mail. Hunter and Shaman. And I was overjoyed to find out that they added another class that wears mail. I don't know why. So, the thing you'll notice about Evoker right off the bat is how unique some of these spells are. These charge buttons, Fire Breath, and Eternity Search. You can hold them to get more power, make them more powerful. And there's only 2 of them, so you don't have to worry too much that they're all like that. The rest of them is basically like a mage. But you can change in your settings options. Controls. There's a setting that allows you to change how you hold that button. The default is that you hold the button. I don't even know if I can find it in here. Action bars, combat. Here we go. Empowered spell input. It's in combat, empowered spell input. Hold and release. You can change it to press and tap. So you can either hold and release these spells, or you can set it to tap twice. I like it on hold. They have a relatively short cooldown, so under 30 seconds for both of those. And yeah, it takes some time to get used to remembering when to use them. Look at these are my talents. These are basic talents that I grabbed from Wowhead. That's how I start off every class I don't know, is I'll just take what they recommend for starters until I have an opinion. So I'm just gonna stand here for a second. So Evoker, look at these colored spells. You see over here in the lower right corner, it says blue. These are blue spells. And these are red spells. Red spells are fire. Blue are cosmic or something. They're not ice. But generally you want to do your spells in chunks. So after you do Fire Breath, you'll get a buff that the next spells that you do should be another fire spell. And you get like 20% extra damage if you do it that way. And generally, I'm more of a blue spell user. Like over here in the left side of these is like fire spell talents. But blue seems to be the better choice. So when I start off combat, ideally I want to start off with Fire Breath because it applies a dot, and also Deep Breath is an amazing spell. It's so fucking fun. That's your dragon, here we go, Deep Breath. Look, and it applies a dot as well. We just killed all those dudes. And that's on a 1 minute cooldown, and it's really fun. They also don't have full range. Evokers don't have like a 40-yard range for anything. They have like a 25-yard range or something. So just get used to being slightly closer to the enemies than you would with a mage or whatever. But you can get used to Evoker really fast because they're super simple. And there's some unique things about them that people don't really know how to utilize. Like this is their buff. Reducing the cooldown of a major movement ability for all party and raid members by 15% per 1 hour. So if you're in a group with an Evoker, you should have that ability, and you get slightly reduced cooldowns on some stuff, which is unique. I think that's cool. But it's still underappreciated because, people just don't know. What's going on here? I lost connection. They also have a healing spec called Preservation. And like I said, Augmentation is the other damage spec. And it's all about earth magic and like landslides and shit. And I think it's better for single target, but I can't remember. This proc that you see on the sides is for Disintegrate. Here, I'll show you. Where's my Disintegrate button? So this is Disintegrate. It's macroed right now to something else. I'll go into that later. But this is basically Mind Flay for Shadow Priest. It's the same shit. These are called Essence, and you barely need to pay attention to this. Barely ever. Because there's so many things that allow you to use abilities without burning through your essence. So don't worry too much about, oh, I only have 4 or 5 essence or 6 essence. How do I pay attention to that? Don't pay attention to it. So I'm going to start off with 4 Shattering Star. It's just a nuke on a 16-second cooldown. And already I have a proc. And this proc means that Disintegrate is going to hit like a truck and not use essence. There you go. You're going to be using Disintegrate all the time. It's basically your Mind Flay. Look at it. It hits hard. And you're going to use it a lot. Let's see if we can get all these people with this flight ability. Yes. Disintegrate. So I like to think of things as in terms of bread and butter. Like when I say a class is bread and butter is Mind Flay, what I'm saying is Shadow Priest. If you don't know what to do, if you can't remember, just use Mind Flay. And when you're learning a new class, you're not going to remember everything you're supposed to do right away. That takes practice. So if you're starting Evoker, just try to remember to use your Empower spells. Like that one. 1.8 million. It hits like a truck. Disintegrate. This thing I'm using, this thing that's lit up all the time is called Living Flame. And every time you enter combat with something, you get a free one that hits harder. But it's not as important as using Shattering Star and Disintegrate, so I kind of neglect it. Living Flame also heals you, or can heal up another player. So I have a macro that targets myself. Show icon Living Flame. Target Devs, that's me. Yeah, I named myself after that show, Devs. Which was so fucking scarily good. It was creepy. It's a very creepy show. About AI and predicting the future and stuff like that. Anyway. So I target myself and cast Living Flame, and that's one of my heals. So, Verdant Embrace, it says fly to an ally and heal them for a big chunk of damage, or heal yourself for the same amount. I never try to heal other people if I'm DPS. Sorry. I don't off heal unless I'm really in the mood to do that, or if it really needs to be done. So H and Shift H for me are always heals. Your 2-minute cooldown is called Dragon Rage. Dragon Rage. For 18 seconds, Essence Burst is chance. Essence Burst is those procs that you get, which is a free Disintegrate. Essence burst chance is increased 100% and you gain the blah 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 blah. Maximum benefit of Mastery Giant Killer. Mastery Giant Killer just means if a target is, close to full health, you do more damage to it. Where's this thing? Oh, this thing wants to die. Come here. See? Bread and butter. If you don't know what to do, just disintegrate. I started off learning a class without paying attention to cooldowns and utility shit. I mean, I also have Tail Swipe. It's an AoE stun. It knocks them up. It knocks up so many people. It gets them all pregnant. No, it doesn't. Landslide is just a root, so same as the Tingling Roots. Like, look. Boom. Come here. I rooted. Congratulations, you learned how to do landslide, but who cares? That's for PvP shit. There's somebody else over here I have to kill. Is this that long leg guy? I think it might be that long leg guy. Yeah, he's got long legs. Alright, so what I wanted to do was go do this shit. Yeah. And be near the sinkhole so we can do a delve. It's been 22 minutes. I need to find... my way. Go to Hallowfall, man. Go to Hallowfall. This ability, Tip the Scales, is a 2-minute cooldown. You should be remembering to do that if you can. What it does is it makes one of your 2 empowered spells. You don't have to charge it. You get the full effect. Like a level 4 charge. It's kind of like, what other class has something like that? I don't know. Can't remember. I'm gonna go here. Go away. Alright, so I'll show you real quick. I'm going to use this, Tip the Scales. Now, these 2 are highlighted, so they'll be instant. That was a level 4 charge. This is just a trinket. Aberrant Spellforge. I don't have anything better right now. But it's on a really short cooldown, like it's a 1-minute cooldown. And it basically just makes your Disintegrate more powerful. Like just another way to make it more powerful. And since I don't want to worry about using a trinket once a minute, I just have this macro, so it tries to use the trinket every time I use Disintegrate. Show icon Disintegrate, use Aberrant Spellforge, cast Disintegrate. So if you equip every 15 seconds, it makes your disintegrate deal an additional 78,000 shadow damage. But when you use it, hold on, it basically does more stuff. And it lasts as long as you're in combat. But good design is about simplicity. And even though this character is more simple, you always want to make things easier for yourself. So like for example, if I have a trinket that's on a 2-minute cooldown, if you're not sure about what to macro or if you should use macros, yes you should. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is like, see, general macros, dev specific. So let me show you how to make a macro real quick. You just name it something. You don't have to choose an icon. So let's say you're an orc. Show icon. Let's pretend this character's an orc. Dragon Rage. And you want to cast Blood Fury, which is the racial, and the trinket together because they're both 2-minute cooldowns. As long as the first one doesn't trigger a global cooldown, you can work it into the same macro. Cast Dragon Rage. There, you just turned 2 spells into 1 spell. And that's important. Or let's say you have a trinket. This is, let's say, Unstable Power Suit Core was a trinket that had a 2-minute cooldown. Macro. You would show icon, and you wanted to macro your 2-minute cooldown trinket to your cool 2-minute power ability. Show icon Dragon Rage, and then you can use /use 13. Where's my character? This is slot 13. This is slot 14. And if you don't want to go by that, and I don't usually anymore, I usually just go by the name of the trinket. So let's say this is a 2-minute cooldown trinket. It's actually a 1-minute cooldown trinket. Use Aberrant Spellforge. Right? That's what it's called? You have to spell it correctly. Otherwise it won't work. Using a trinket doesn't trigger a global cooldown. And that means that you can cast that at the same time as something else, or like 1 frame later. Basically, you can put it on the same button. Cast Dragon Rage. And then you would hit save, and then drag this. There, now you have a macro. And you would use the trinket at the same time as your 2-minute cooldown ability. Which means instead of having 2 separate buttons up here, 2 things you have to pop to empower yourself, you can have 1 thing. Fury of the Aspects. This is basically, what do you call it? Evokers have a bloodlust. So that's their bloodlust. It's just called Fury of the Aspects. So let's make a macro real quick. The question mark means it'll give it an icon based on what the ability is. So I like to use my fart toy. Use Foul Belly. Cast Fury of the Aspects. See? If you save it, it changes it to the fart toy. That's a stomach. If you don't like that icon, You can always do hashtag show icon, fury of the aspects, and then it changes it to that. Or you could go through millions of icons and pick that one. But this will make it so that I fart when I cast Bloodlust. Super important. So there's your rundown on macros. Did you hear the fart noise? I messed up one of my macros. Auto. Fuck it, I'll fix it later. These guys hurt really bad. So what am I doing? I'm teaching Evoker. Yeah. So why would you play Evoker? I don't know. Because it's new? It's fun. I'm more interested in Evoker than Demon Hunter. I like it. But I don't like the Draxier race, because just, come on, they all look like the same. They only show like the shoulder armor. It just looks weird, not enough. Like, put the rest of the armor on. I don't know. Put it on. Where? You're killing me. You have to go to your other visage if you want to see your armor. See, isn't this more interesting than same old dragon? Anyway, I'm going to start off with this thing. Deep breath. Evokers are fun because they hit for really big numbers. Like 2 million, 1.5 million. Because they're a simple class, they don't hit like 20 times. They hit once or twice. So if you like big numbers, and of course you do, because World of Warcraft is about big number appreciation. That's what it's about. And eventually I'm going to play Preservation, because that's the healer spec. And it's kind of a utility-based healing spec. It's kind of interesting and has new stuff. So once you learn the basic spells that actually do damage in one-on-one combat, like using your 2 empowered spells, Shattering Star and Disintegrate, the next thing I try to remember is that after doing Eternity Surge, I use my other 2 blue spells, Shattering Star and Disintegrate, because you want to cast blue spells all in a row for extra damage, or red spells all in a row. I don't use Fire Breath as much, only when I remember it. It's good to start out combat with Fire Breath because it leaves a dot. And Eternity Surge does not leave a dot, it's just a nuke. Put on my flask again. Let's take on a few of these at once. What is going on? Okay, here we go. Look at that. 3 of those bad boys all taken down. On Shadow Priest, I can barely kill one. They just do not have, I don't know, survivability. Let's get rid of this fart thing. The way I use macros consistently, like the way I learned to start using macros, was the only macro that I would do is using a trinket and an ability at the same time. So if that's all you use macros for, that's fine. But I also have this macro, this heal macro, which is basically Living Flame. That's a 1-second cast. If you're out of essence, like you're playing bad or you're learning, you don't know what to do, and you're running out of essence a lot, Living Flame is what you're gonna resort to, because it just always works. It doesn't use essence. Oops, that's not Living Flame. Where's my lagging a little bit? So I gave myself an extra ability because this heal button, it targets, the only reason it's a macro is because it targets myself. So it becomes a heal yourself button. So rather than, like if you were fighting something and you cast Living Flame, it's going to cast as a spell. You don't want to have to click on yourself and do that in order to get a heal. So you can macro it, like I did. Just make it target yourself. And now you have an extra heal. I'm gonna try and knock one of these guys up. Did I collect all the potatoes already? No, I didn't. Knocked up. Tail swipe. one more torch. This is their movement ability, what is called hover. It just makes you surge forward a little bit, and then you literally hover for a little bit. But the nice thing about hover is, right after you hover, you can move around while you're doing your little mind flay, your disintegrate. So you can be moving and casting at the same time. And that's still taking me time to get used to. Like, watch. Well, I lagged a little bit, so you couldn't tell. They also have this thing. I still mount up like normal. But if you don't have to do that, they have this ability called Soar on a 10-second cooldown. Muster your strength and launch into the air. It's like being mounted up, but you're just your dragon form. And it starts off by launching you really high into the air. But I still prefer to just mount up like normal. I don't know, even though it's technically slower. Because I don't like that 10-second cooldown. I mount up too much. And I also don't like not riding a mount. I don't want to be a dragon, I want to ride a dragon. And everybody else feels the same way. No, I'm kidding. Come on, where's another one of those key flame things? Isn't there one over here? Ho inspected. How long has it been? 43 minutes? I wanted to get on, start showing Devastation Evoker, because that's the spec that I know right now, and I want to learn augmentation. But I was like, I'm not going to learn augmentation until I teach Devastation. One of these days I have to go over my logic for how I set up keybinds, and I want to do a really good video about that. But I might as well practice, I guess. Let's see how fast I can do it. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 I never mess with. They're always going to be 1 through 6 on every character. Every bar setup, always. Same thing with shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's always going to be the same, except sometimes shift 1, because shift 1 is not comfortable for me to hit. I have a regular, normal, human-sized hand. I'm a short person. I'm like 5'5", so my hand size is probably even small compared to, you know, if you're a dude and you're like 6'4", or 6'2", or 6'1", you're probably going to have slightly better options when it comes to keybinds, because your hand will be slightly bigger. But yeah, what my keybinds are have to do with what's comfortable to hit. Because if you're playing World of Warcraft, everybody knows you have to play like for hours and hours and hours. And you don't want to get like pain in your hands because you're hitting keybinds that are hard to hit. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up in this corner I put the T's. So when you start out playing World of Warcraft, T turns on your auto attack, and that's not necessary. So I always use T as a keybind. Regular T is a very comfortable thing to hit. So I usually replace Shift 1. Shift 1 I usually put down here, and it's usually like, it's my sheep button. It's for utility. Like, Shift 1 is for like sheeping something, or polymorphing something, or my Chains of Ice for Death Knight or something. Some utility spell that I don't need to hit a lot. Control T is hard to hit, but I still can hit it. So I like to use it for like quest items, and I like to leave it there. Shift T is a very comfortable 2-minute cooldown for me to hit. F is a very comfortable button to hit, but I don't need it on this character. Control F I usually use for a 2-minute cooldown or a 3-minute cooldown. Shift F is usually an oh shit move for me, like Ice Block. Tomothy. Guy's name is Tomothy. I have to find these keybinds. And then I want to do a delve and prove that I can play the game. Over here I have Shift A, Shift E, Shift S, Shift W is usually around here too, and then top right is always going to be Z. Z is a really comfortable, I love this mount. Holy shit. I love this mount. It's a monk mount. Z is always up here, top right, and defensive moves and utility moves are always to the right. So G, Control G, and Shift G are all comfortable to hit. G is always a movement ability for me, and V is sometimes a movement ability. So I keep them close to each other. Control V is always a cleanse of some kind for me. Control G is always a root move for me. Shift G is usually an AoE stun for me. Like, that's my War Stomp. And Tail Swipe is basically a War Stomp. Over here I have potions. Shift Q is always, what do you call it? Health Stone. Shift Space is always a potion. And Control Space right now is on Mount Special. This little thing right here is the tilde key to the left. It's to the left of the number 1. That's always my interrupt on every character, every class. I like hitting that button. It's an easy button to hit. It just doesn't look like... See, you see that tiny little dot right there? That's the tilde. It's a little harder to see than like in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the reason I can play every spec is because I force every character to be the same. Pretty much. Here we go, finally. Good God. I don't want to do this. There we go. This is the last one. Just give me the chest. Thanks. Shift Z is always my Grand Expedition yak, so I can sell shit and transmog whenever I want. This Grand Expedition yak is a Pandaria mount, and it's kind of cheap to buy. I think maybe 500,000 gold or something. That's not cheap. So, how much was it? Maybe 50,000? I can't remember. It's worth it. You should get this mount. You will never need to look for a repair or a vendor again. If you want to sell shit or transmog your character, you got it right there. Bloop. Swag. Dark. I don't know. I haven't really done. DJ Cream is the same as Sorg. So let's make a new. Let's find a different outfit. So orange and green. We're gonna go with orange and green. We need to find shoulders. Yes. Look at that. Orange. Kilt. It's purple. Orange and green. That's kind of red. I need an accent color. That's interesting. I like it. That's orange and green right there. I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna change this to the green one. This cape needs to get fixed. Orange and green. There we go. This belt needs to get fixed. I don't really need an accent color, I guess. There's an orange belt. Boom. Apply. Yeah. See, like, this is so stupid. They only show the shoulders and the belt. And the weapons. Come on, Blizzard. You had to make up a whole ability to change back between your human form and your dragon form because you wouldn't put armor on the dragon form. They're unbelievable. Where's the other one? I'm gonna wait, because I'm not a tank. And other people are gonna want this one. Should always try to be nice. Because other people want to get the kill too. If you've ever played at the end of any expansion, there's always an area where there's lots of rares running around. And if you've ever been one of those people that flies around looking to kill rares, only to find that people kill them too fast and you don't get that last hit in, you don't get to tag it, it feels bad, man. So just be nice and don't TPS too hard. What am I in combat with? This I need to unlock, so we can do that and Lights Gambit. Fuck it, let's do Lights Gambit. 56 minutes. We got 3 minutes to do Lights Gambit. Are you ready? I don't know if we can get this done. It's that fake ass chess game. Oops. I missed the door. Did it work? Yes. Heal, smite. Smite. Boom. I did it.